So me, female 26, and my husband 28, who I'll call Jake for this story, have been together for 5 years and married for 3. We recently started trying for a baby as we both felt like this was the next step in our life together. And 3 weeks ago, I got a positive test back. We were really happy and told our families, and now my mom and mother-in-law want to throw a big baby shower for us. It was just super good news all around. Well, 2 nights ago, Jake and I were getting ready for bed when he reminded me to go through the house and make sure all the lights were off. Now, he can be a little lazy at times, and it has become a nightly routine for me to make sure all the lights are off that he leaves on before we go to bed. I wasn't feeling very well and asked if he could just do it since he wasn't doing anything and was literally standing by the door. He then tells me, "No, this is what is expected of you every night." I was a little hurt, but I didn't want to fight with him, so I just did it. When I came back, Jake went on this very long and unprovoked rant, saying things like, "Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean anything will change, and you're still expected to cook and clean and do all the chores every day. Because how can you be expected to be a mother if you can't handle a little work?" He wasn't yelling or anything. He was talking to me quietly like he was 2 inches tall. I was shocked because I had never heard him say anything like this. The rant went on for about 30 minutes before I interjected and asked, "Well, what do you plan on doing to help me with all of this?" He then got extremely defensive, saying he works his butt off at his job to provide for me and what will be our future children. For context, I don't work at the moment. My job was not paying enough to justify me going, so I am a full-time college student. He ended by saying that it doesn't matter how I feel physically or mentally. It is a mother's job to push through, and if he helped and babied me, I wouldn't be a good mother. I got extremely upset and started yelling, and I said, "I wish I would have known this is how you felt before I got pregnant with your baby." There was a moment of silence before he started crying and left for the night to stay at his mother's house. He hasn't been back yet, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law have called me, berating me, and saying I broke Jake's heart with what I said, and I need to apologize immediately. And until I do, he isn't coming home. I don't know how to feel. So, am I the idiot for yelling at my husband after he said he isn't helping me with anything during the pregnancy because it's a mother's job to deal with it? Oh, so he won't baby you, but he'll run back home crying to mommy because you called him out on his bullshit? Wow, just wow. I think you can salvage this if you stand your ground. If not, I'm so sorry. But it makes you wonder how many other routines there are that OP isn't even aware of. Don't even try to save this. Girl, this man has no empathy for you and will make your pregnancy and postpartum misery. You're too young to sign up for a life of these inane battles, at best. At worst, it's terrifying manipulation and abuse. Take your kid and leave. It's time to get out. He's showing you exactly who he is. Believe him. Not the idiot. One thing that stands out is we aren't even talking about general housekeeping here. It's doing crap for a grown man he should be doing himself, as it sounds like it's the lights he's turned on himself. Even if one believes in an arrangement where the woman has the general upkeep of the house and child-rearing duties, and the man is the breadwinner, that doesn't mean she follows him around turning lights on and off for him. Update. First, I want to thank you all for your responses. I told my mother-in-law and sister-in-law what he said. They said I was being sensitive, and all he meant was pregnancy isn't an excuse to be lazy. He meant no harm. Okay, I'm getting some things together, and we'll be headed to my mom and dad's house. My mom is furious with him and doesn't want me apologizing to him or talking to him without the situation either being recorded or having a witness. Regardless, I'm okay and will be okay. I do appreciate all of you, though. You have opened my eyes to many things I may have been ignoring or looking past over the years. My husband and I each came into our marriage with one child. His daughter is nearly adult, and mine is 21. We met 9 years ago and got married after 4 years of dating. I love my stepdaughter as if she were my own child. She is an amazing, sweet, and beautiful girl, and I am so proud of the woman she'll grow up to be, and that she has allowed me to be a part of it in the way that she has. Early on in our relationship, my husband and I agreed that if our children ever ask for alone time with their parent for any reason, we respect that and will have no hurt feelings about it. We do family vacations and vacations with just stepdaughter and daughter, which is fine too, but this is what works for us. Last week, my daughter called me up crying. Her boyfriend of 3 years broke up with her out of nowhere and started dating someone else. She's convinced he cheated on her, but has no proof. She came to visit with us over the weekend and spent a whole day just sobbing in her room. As a surprise and to make her feel better, I wanted to take her out for the day, just her and me. I made reservations at a spa for pedicures and massages and plan to take her shopping and out to lunch. My husband is fully aware of this plan and even helped me find a nice place for the spa trip. The reservations were for two, me and daughter, and I thought he understood that this was just a me and her thing. This was also supposed to be a week where he didn't have stepdaughter. I told my daughter about the trip, and she was happy and said she really needed this time with me. It was the first time I saw her even attempt to smile in over a week. The reservation was for Saturday. On Friday, my husband's ex called and told him she had a family emergency and asked if we could take stepdaughter to avoid her missing school. Of course, we agreed, and she dropped her off on Friday afternoon. On Saturday morning, when we were leaving, stepdaughter asked where we were going, and I told her we had a mother-daughter thing to try and cheer up daughter. Stepdaughter asked if she could go, and I told her not this time, but we could do something tomorrow, Sunday. After we left, my husband texted me and said that it was rude of me not to take stepdaughter, and she was upset. I replied to my husband that this was one of those alone times where we agreed that no hurt feelings would be had. He claims that since my daughter didn't ask for this, stepdaughter should have been included. When we got home, stepdaughter refused to speak to either of us. All day yesterday, we got the silent treatment, and this morning she left for school and didn't even say goodbye to me like she normally does. My husband said that it's my fault and that I should apologize to her for hurting her feelings, and I will, but I also think that my daughter needed me, and I wanted to be there for her. Am I the idiot for not taking stepdaughter on a spa trip? Not the idiot. Sometimes even 100% bio siblings need one-on-one time with a parent. There's nothing wrong with that, and this is clearly a difficult time for your daughter. Stepdaughter is 17, not 7. She's old enough to know better, and your husband's doing a poor job as a parent by enabling this. It would be best if you talked with your husband, and he needs to address the situation. Not the idiot. Stepdaughter is more than old enough to understand that not all invitations include her, and she's not going to have any friends if she starts doing this "no one can do anything without me" nonsense. I wouldn't say stepdaughter is the idiot, though. Your husband is, more than anyone in this case. This is a parenting failure on his part. His job in this instance is to offer his daughter emotional coaching on how it's okay to be sad that you didn't get an outing, not throw tantrums whenever you're not invited to something. Instead of coaching her, he joined her in a tantrum. You are the idiot. Instead of telling her it was just mother-daughter time with you and your daughter, you could have told her the plans were made before you knew she'd be there. And unfortunately, she won't be able to go this time, but definitely next time. Or you could have just said it's a 21 and older spa because they serve alcohol, something that would have made her feel less excluded. I have a stepdaughter, Leah, and a bio daughter, Tessa, who are half-sisters, though they don't get along at all. My stepdaughter was moving and asked if she could store some things here, and her dad said yes. Leah and Tessa are both getting married, which has intensified their dislike. Leah hijacked Tessa's dress shopping appointment and bought herself a wedding gown, which was among the things she stored at our house. Tessa tried it on, which I walked in on, and I snapped at her. The dress was $12,000, which I know because I was there, and if she damaged it at all, I was concerned about how she was going to pay. My husband found out and told Leah. Tessa was mortified to the point of tears, and Leah reacted by calling her a stupid little whore and telling her to get out of her life forever. I yelled at my husband that he's a terrible father for telling Leah when he knew how she'd react. Leah cried to her fiance, who then cussed at my husband and called him a deadbeat father, and Tessa hasn't come out of her room. I'm so upset that he told Leah. I looked the dress over carefully to make sure there was no damage, so Leah didn't need to know. And now Tessa's humiliated, and Leah is crying. I told him he's an idiot who hurt both kids, and right now I'm not talking to him. He did what he thought was best and didn't mean to hurt anyone, so I feel like I might be the idiot. You are the idiot, big time. Your poor husband is surrounded by a bunch of toxic women. Your husband is not the one to be blamed here. This is 100% on you and your daughters. Your stepdaughter had a right to know. Maybe this seems like a small thing, but I would want to know if it were me. Honestly, your daughter and stepdaughter both sound like they may be better off out of each other's lives if they're old enough to be getting married and still acting like this towards each other. I'm not saying anyone should have tried the dress on, but assuming the dress is undamaged, I don't get the benefit of the father telling Leah about Tessa trying on the wedding dress. He had to know what Leah's response was going to be. Did he just want the wedding dress and all of her things out of his house? I think he's an idiot too. Everyone's the idiot here. Literally everyone. Tessa had no right to try on the wedding dress. Leah had no right to hijack the appointment. Your husband had no right to create the drama by saying anything. The fiancé had no right to cuss out the husband. You had no right to call your husband a terrible father. That was going too far. Stick to what you're upset about. Petty insults add to the drama you're upset about in the first place. So all of you are idiots. Leah and Tessa sound like delightful young ladies, calling each other stupid little whores and such. And I do think you're an idiot too, but there's an overall problem with how you've parented these people. They're full-grown adults crying about a wedding dress, for God's sake. Grow up. If Leah hijacked Tessa's appointment, whatever that means, it seems like she has a right to be angry, but they both overreacted and seem rather immature. Oh, and she can afford a $12,000 wedding dress, but can't afford her own $200 a month storage locker? God, what a dysfunctional family. My 35 male, wife 32, is 36 weeks pregnant and is having the baby shower over the weekend. Unfortunately, she has no friends living nearby, so it'll be done over Zoom. I only mention this because we would not be having this issue, as she would have just gone to her friend's house like she normally does. My friends thought it would be a good idea to hold a dad shower, birthday party for me in the evening on that same day, as my birthday's over the weekend. Unfortunately, we have a larger home than all of my friends, and with current restrictions in my province, we have to hold the party at our house. All my friends have pitched in for a hotel room for my wife. She's pregnant. I know my friends. This party will go on much longer than it has to, and will be much louder than it has to be. So she initially agreed to stay in the hotel. However, my wife changed her mind, stating that she was nervous that she might go into labor that night, and she would prefer just to stay in one of the bedrooms at our place. Furthermore, she's now also stated that the party could only have male guests, because as she states, there are restrictions, and there's no need to have plus ones or any females there. So even with no plus ones, we will still be above the restricted limit. As soon as she brought up the potential to go into labor, I immediately decided that canceling the whole party was a responsible choice. However, she doesn't want me to do that. She wants me to hold the party but ban women from coming while she stays in one of the rooms. I know my wife well. As long as she's in the vicinity, my phone will be blowing up about noise, guests, etc. Frankly, I just want to cancel the whole thing, but she won't let me. So now I come to you. So am I the idiot if I just tell her to go stay in the hotel and have the party that I want? Seriously, you are the idiot. You can go have your party at a hotel and let your very pregnant wife stay home in comfort. No, wait. Your wife is 36 weeks pregnant, and she could go into labor at any time. You need to be with her. Tell you what, why don't you both stay home and both have showers by Zoom? You are the idiot. You want to throw a party, not allow your wife to be present, but your buddies can bring women. You want your very pregnant wife to go to a hotel so you can throw a big party with other women as guests? You'll notice there's a dad shower and a baby shower, but I don't hear anything about a mom shower. You would think the person doing the work and taking the risk would get the celebration, but nope. X communicated to a hotel room alone at 36 weeks pregnant as her reward. Nice. Okay, this is my thing too. Some people are focused on her saying no other women and surmise it's out of insecurity. In her shoes, I'd be mega angry if I wasn't invited to my own husband's dad shower / birthday party. Of course, this is outside of the entirely separate and probably more important issue of her being 36 weeks pregnant. Hey wifey, let me put you up at the Radisson while my friends bring their partners to party in your home. Seriously, screw off with that noise. My wife was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, but recently she started to work again. It has been an adjustment, but she clearly missed having a career and being part of a team. My mother-in-law hates that my wife is going back to work. She's gotten into many arguments with my wife about this and has tried to guilt trip her to stay at home. Yesterday, she called me and asked me for some help with moving some furniture. My wife told me that I should help her out, so I drove over, and as I was helping her, she was pretty much trying to convince me to force her to work. She told me to be the man of the house and asked me why I let her work when I made more than enough money. I told her that she decided to quit working, and it's her decision to rejoin the workforce, and I don't control her. She brought up the fact that my wife is bi and may cheat on me if she goes back to work. That was pretty disgusting, and I was pretty numbed by that. I mostly ignored her, but she continued to make these awful arguments about why I should not let her work. I told her to stop arguing with me, and she was talking to the wrong person. She then snapped that it was fine if I wanted to let her work, but then we shouldn't expect any inheritance from her. Finally, I was pretty much done with her BS. I retorted that we both made enough money that we didn't need her pocket change, and my parents had already contributed to our daughter's college education instead of trying to control us with money. She told me to get out of her house, and she told my wife that I had belittled her father's hard work, and she's annoyed with me for not dealing with it better. Not the idiot. What does she expect you to do? Lock your wife in the basement or chain her to the kitchen floor? Your mother-in-law has crazy ideas about her daughter if she doesn't know that her daughter actually likes to work. Your wife needs to have a straightforward conversation with her parents that she likes maintaining her independence by making her own money in your marriage, and they need not hold that against her or your children. Some mothers love to be at home with their children 24/7, and that's all it takes to fulfill their lives. But other mothers need to feel like they're more than a mother by working outside of the home. Every parent is different, and you're not forcing her to work, and you're not forcing her to stay home either. This is 100% her choice, and you have every right to support that as her husband. Everyone's the idiot here. Sounds like a wife problem more than anything. Why is she making you go over to her mother's place to move furniture and then getting mad at you for sticking up for her? Tell her to go deal with her mother's nonsense and leave you out of it from now on. Right. At some point during the conversation, OP should have just set the furniture down, calmly stated, "We're done here," and started no contact right then. "I'm so sorry your couch is in the kitchen. Perhaps use the inheritance to hire someone to help move it for you." God, she sounds horrible. I'd no contact the crap out of such a toxic woman.